Hurricane Ernesto is leaving the Greater Antilles on track for the island of Bermuda. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Naso with the latest on the tropics, and looking out over the Atlantic Basin, we have one system we're watching, and this is our hurricane, the third hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, Hurricane Ernesto. And Ernesto is forecast to become a major hurricane, the second of the year after Beryl, and it could do so as it gets very, very close to the island of Bermuda in the next couple of days. Here's the latest as of 5 p.m. Atlantic time from the National Hurricane Center. The center of Hurricane Ernesto is at 21.7 north, 68.3 west. It's moving northwest at 16, away from land right now. And the maximum sustained winds are 75 miles per hour with a pressure around 989 millibars or so, which makes it a low-end, run-of-the-mill Category 1 hurricane. The forecast does have it continuing to move to the north and then northeast, in between this break here in the subtropical ridge to the north, the ridge of high pressure. However, by Saturday, it could be dangerously close to Bermuda. And right now we do have a hurricane watch that has been issued for the island of Bermuda because, as you see on this map, hurricane force winds are right near the center, but as Ernesto becomes larger, you could very well get hurricane force conditions by this weekend on the island of Bermuda. Now, Puerto Rico, you guys had a lot of flooding going on the last 24 hours because look at this. This is a long loop of the radar. After Ernesto moved over the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, it left north of Puerto Rico. But these bands to the south of the departing hurricane dropped insane amounts of rain and caused some flooding in Puerto Rico. Thankfully, it's starting to dry out, and as Ernesto pulls away, these are the last few showers that'll be over Puerto Rico, and it should be nicer weather for you to dry out a bit. There's the eye of the hurricane as it pulls off the radar range out towards the western Atlantic. But nevertheless, 4 to 6 inches locally, and that's as the system pulls away. We'll see that decrease as time goes by, but nevertheless, some nasty wet weather for Puerto Rico. Here's the satellite, and again, looking at, it's blowing up right over the center there. Every time we see an I-type feature, convection covering it, that's the sign of a system that's probably holding its own, and then we'll see it strengthen some more. Nevertheless, an impressive Category 1 hurricane. They're eyeing the Turks and Caicos Islands, but moving in a direction to where it is going to spare those islands. The key messages for Hurricane Ernesto: number 1, hurricane conditions are possible on Bermuda Saturday, and the tropical storm conditions are possible Friday afternoon. That'll be out ahead of the hurricane winds. Rainfall associated with Ernesto may begin to affect Bermuda as early as Thursday, and you could have flash flooding across that island. We've already seen, like I said, that rainfall and flooding in areas there of Puerto Rico. Number 2, heavy rainfall will be diminishing across Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands this evening. Local considerable flash flooding and mudslides could continue through tonight over the Virgin Islands and into portions of Puerto Rico, so you're not done yet, but it should start to dry out. And number 3, even though Ernesto will remain well away from the East Coast, it looks like, you could have some swells that could reach that area later this week, and there could be dangerous rip currents and life-threatening surf, and surf and rip currents are also possible over the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic and Turks and Caicos and Bahamas. So again, all of these areas are going to have real nasty surf conditions and rip current potential because of Ernesto. So even though the hurricane should be moving up and out away from most land masses except Bermuda and perhaps Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, even though that's likely to happen, we could still have some high swells along the eastern seaboard. So that'll do it with this update on Hurricane Ernesto. We'll continue to watch it pull away from the Greater Antilles, on track to threaten and perhaps impact directly the island of Bermuda later this week. I'm Mike Naso, and I'll talk to you next time.